Hello YouTube, RoninKaze here. Another legendary, that's not legendary video. Manhunt for chunks. I could have made a lot of different titles, but. So I'm running my file jammer build, my maximum DPS file jammer build. I did all the precursor missions. I was going to show you that I tried to use different builds. In the middle of that, I kind of got bored and I started dying a bunch, and then I got my shit together. So I was hoping to get a group for this, so I'm calling for backup. But at this point, I'm just going to stay right here, make them come to me, and just keep pulsing the shit out of them. Sorry for the French. I recently was playing Destiny 2 Lightfall expansion. It was pretty good. I played it with Ultimate Shield 340. You should check out his channel and his content always. There's another person that comments in here, Rich85 or Sloth Moods. Hopefully I'll get, he commented on the, I don't know anything about Destiny 2, so my nomenclature's wrong. I don't know anything. Okay, so I got someone coming in. What I found in these manhunts is that with this Vile Jammer build, it absolutely rails. The other ones, it absolutely railed because you can get people through walls and everything, and I'm going to try to add another person. So when you're going against Black Tusk, the Vile Jammer build, the Jammer Pulse, is great because it's area of effect. It's a large radius sphere, up, down, to the sides. I have it raised to level 20 expertise, so it's 20% larger. And that guy drops. So recently, I wonder if people get in the groups. I had another person drop the other day. I wonder if they really hate my videos so much. I don't know if this is, you know, maybe they don't even watch. They probably don't watch my videos. I only have 300 and something subscribers, and I appreciate all of them, but it seems like people drop a lot more than they used to. So I'm going to try to add some more people. I'm anticipating that these guys are going to rush, so I'm going to be super conservative. I'm going to put my turret here. I've never put my turret there in any Lincoln Memorial. In the worst case, I put it up there, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to rush me. And I'm going to kind of sit back and see if someone comes and rushes me. They shouldn't. This is a heroic. And when they're getting pulsed, they're going to not rush to get pulsed. And when they hear the turret, they don't rush up here. So I should be okay. The one thing about the manhunts, what I found in 4-mans, it just ends up being a lot of people. The manhunt, I think it's Chirpy, the one that's in George Washington Hotel, that is just a dump truck load of mobs that you got to go through. That's another one you can just do, you know, non-stop behind walls. Micro, the same thing in that television station. All right, someone joins. And I'm going to add another person. So one of the things, again with this build, is that I really, of all the videos I watch other people. I've been in groups where people will run Vile Jammer and I'll run something else. You know, there's slider bars in everything you do. You can see that I'm doing about 75K to non-technical things. I do like over 80K to technical things. Maybe 82 or something, I don't know. Can't read it that well, I'm old. But in general, it's probably the best thing to do. At least have someone in your group doing it. If we had someone else doing it, I would change my build up and go to a different route. Maybe go more healing or do one of my max DPS skill guys or whatever. But you just see the drones are suppressed the whole time we roll through here. Recently, again, I talked about Ultimate Shield. They had a video about the blind. So I used to run that, and this is going to be stupid, but it's almost too powerful when you have blind and jammer pulse, because you're just locking everything down constantly. And it's a great build. And really the key to all that, status effects are okay, but really status effects with Vile and Creeping Death are what really make this build shine. I like to have a turret. Sometimes I go with Seeker Mines. Sometimes I'll do shock traps. I don't think I'm fast enough. I got a pretty high fast recharge. So I'd love to use that flame turret, but it's like a 26-second cooldown, which isn't that much, but you get spoiled when your skills are coming back at 12 and 13 seconds. That's Roxy. And recently they've been fighting over bones. So I'm recording this kind of late, so they're probably tired of me talking. And if you don't have a high expertise, all it means is it's not more powerful. It just means it has less radius, which then you got to get a little closer to mobs, but you're still going to be fine. One thing I want you to consider almost all the time, you want to have the high ground, but you see the difference between here and over to my left, there's a container that's out in the open and the high ground. Hey, I will squirt you guys right now. Caesar, get out of there. So Caesar's a bigger dog, and he might want, hey, come over here. Go right there. So over there on the left, there's a container, and you're on top of it, but you're exposed. Over here, you're not so exposed, and you can move out of the way a little bit more. But you want the high ground. It just gives you one more advantage. If you're in cover, it's just even harder to shoot you. You'll see this guy's running behind us. I'm going to pick up my turret, and I'm going to go get him down on this end. One of the problems with my new builds, they're like, 70 or 80% reduction to yellow damage, is I forget I don't have that on. And so sometimes I try to go against yellows. This build has Unbreakable, which when your armor breaks, it throws out another set of armor for you. So that's kind of like the canary in the coal mine, which is a phrase from mining. When the gases got too strong, the canary would die, and then you knew to get out of the mine. So it's kind of a warning that you're taking too much damage. You should always be looking on radar, unless you play without radar, to see if you're getting flanked. You should be flanking the enemy. You're going to see a couple of examples of this here. If we all push in the middle, they're going to push out onto the sides. So here I'm going to change it to the blinder, and you're going to see how that works now. So you can see guys pushing over there on the left. And so when you're in the middle, right, you're pushing them to the side. Right, so that's why you got to kind of flank across. Your division agents, you're supposed to be able to go do this solo, but if there's 4 of us, you should be doing your lane. If you play League of Legends, there's lanes that you got to guard, right? So you have to think about all of that. You're shaping the battlefield. You're shaping the battle at all the time. So I'm going to help push on this guy, and so I'm going to go to the far right so I can push them back into the middle to our people. I don't have high weapon DPS, but I can blind them, and then as I'm running away, I'm going to pulse them. And now I'm going to try to look at what's going on the battlefield and try to support the other person. I'm going to try to keep the enemy in a line across the front. So with that person going over there, I can start moving back towards the middle a little bit more. And if you guess where they're pushing out of, you're going to be right. You can see the radar. They're kind of over there on the left. And look, they're coming out of that door. First time I've played this, but you got to think that they're going to try to flank you. And again, we're not set up to protect that flank. So I'm going to withdraw out of this position, go back, and go further back, not cut through them. I'm going to go all the way to the back and then push up forward on that lane. And this is how you shape the battlefield. We're not talking about this, but most people are going to play in the middle. When I first started playing, I would, wherever the map put me out, that's where I fought from. But in real life, you probably wouldn't do that because that might not be the most favorable position. So you're going to get to where the most favorable position is. If you're talking to someone on, if you're in a clan or a guild, I'd expect your tactics. You probably go through this stuff like professionals. And speaking of that, like this isn't going to happen in this run here, but I don't know. Have you ever been in a group where someone always makes you stop so they can do their ultimate skill, or they have to, you know, they kind of be, they want to be a hero. Like, oh, I'm going to push on this side. It's like, dude, why don't we just all be heroes? So sometimes you might run into those kind of people. That it's okay. Heroic is very easy. So normally I play legendaries. It's for nothing other than I just like the challenge. It's a little bit harder. And if you get a good group and you go through it in a pretty decent time, it's like you get a good feeling. Like wasn't flawless, but I played a really good match. And the difference is, Roxy. You're not the difference, Roxy. The difference is the amount of mistakes you make are punishing. In Legendary, when you push forward too much, you're going to pay. You might not pay on one section, but you're going to pay because that's going to breed overconfidence. You're always going to be overextending. I also, when I was playing in Destiny 2 and I was playing with the other YouTuber, Ultimate Shield, he was getting all the aggro. In every game, when you do a lot of damage, you're going to get the attention of the enemy, or if you're healing or whatever. I don't know the exact aggro mechanics in the Division 2, but you saw that person run in there. When I'm jammer pulsing everything, that's what normally happens. They're going to come after me. Roxy, knock it off. So we're getting the one good thing is about Manhunts, they're in familiar maps, but the map is played different. This is the final section, spoiler alert. And I should have thrown the blind first, but I didn't really have a good look at them, so I'm going to move around where I feel comfortable, and then I'm marking them, and then I'm going to throw it through there. And because I have creeping death, if creeping death is down on cooldown, when I put someone blind, it's going to spread to everyone with like within 5 or 8 meters. And in the normal Lincoln Memorial, you're usually flying through here. You just push up the middle to the front where those enemies are, and then you make a left, and there's 2 spawn points on the left. So if you're a developer and you know that's how people do, you have all this data showing you how they play it, where do you think the spawn's going to be? And so if this was a legendary, you're going to see we wouldn't have made it. But you can push in a heroic, you can push in challenging even more. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I have a guy bleeding off to the right. Right, I don't have my superstar build, so you saw Unbreakable fire off. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to set up here because no matter what, I know that I can either put a turret down. Oh gosh. Don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. I can put a turret down. When I'm playing maximum defense, I would have put a turret down in front of the door and I just pulse from here. And I could get I get the mission complete, no matter if the people all died or not. But I don't want them to die. I appreciate them coming in. I've never played this before, so I don't know if I need them or not. And you can see eventually there's some diminishing returns on having two status effect things. It's nice because you can always get people locked down, but it's also, they don't operate the same way. I get spoiled with Vile Jammer. You'll get spoiled if you use it because you're always damaging everyone. You don't even have to look. You can be running away. You can be reading the internet. You can be reading a newspaper, reading a book, and you could be just killing people. And I'll tell you a quick funny story. I was on my other build, but I needed to have Vile Jammer, but it wasn't a skill build. But it was just to put out that every once in a while. And I was jamming them, and I was like, oh my God, they finally nerfed my build. Then I forgot I was in a different build. But I wasn't putting the damage on them, the Vile on them. So look, he's spawning right at this end. And normally the spawn is on the other end of that wall. So that's a thing. That's a spoiler alert. But that's, if you play enough legendaries, you're just going to always, when you're on an unknown map, you're going to be, you know, trying to take care of that. So I'm going to throw out shock traps now. Because I want to stop this from happening. Another thing, difference between a heroic and a legendary, that guy's crawling back. And so I'm going to eventually go out and res him. If this was a legendary, he'd been dead, and then he would have rage quit, and then he would have just dropped. But he didn't. I went out and got him. And I don't know if I'm the build where I should do that, but everyone's helping me, so I want to make sure I pick everyone up. That's an important thing. If you're playing, you have to have the situational awareness to realize when one of your teammates go down, that's a huge loss. No matter how good your build is, you've just reduced your overall team damage by 25%. So if you're one of those builds that give you 25% damage because if you just stay healthy, that's negated because you're letting a guy sit there and be dead. So it's important to get people up when possible. I really want to thank everyone. I know that the folks of you that like the Division 2 probably don't want to see the Destiny 2 videos. The Division's a little bit older, so I want to make sure that I can reach a bigger crowd as well. I love the Division, but this is the first day I got to play it, and I got through the Manhunt on Heroic. You know, I soloed all the stuff and then got a group for here, but I probably could have soloed this. And then I'll do the rest of the stuff for the story, and then I'm going to be done with it for the season. Then I'll start my trying to get to level 99 in shepherding, which if it's like 7 a thing, it's like, you know, I'm going to do 400 shepherds over the next 12 weeks. And I don't know if I need to do that. I did it in the last 2, 9 and 10. I don't know if I'm going to do it in 11. So I appreciate you that you watch the channel. I appreciate that you subscribe. I appreciate that you share it at times. I really appreciate if people are in game and play with me. Ultimate Shield is a PlayStation 5, and that was one thing cool about Destiny. We played on Destiny 2 together without being, you know, on PC. So thanks again, everyone. Have a great night. Talk to you soon.